Hi, I'm David Norris and I'm serving up the perfect podcast, Pompey Platter with Russ, Daz and Haz. Play up, Pompey.
He used to be a waiter, did David Norris. Well, he's served up the perfect cocktail here.
Gera back to goal, Lang. Needs a bit of help. Goodness from Lang. What can he do? Still there, Lang. Lang! You wouldn't believe it! Cross comes into the near post. Headers into the net! Shaughnessy! Surely Pompey are heading for the championship! Portsmouth are promoted as League One champions!
Hello everyone and welcome to the Pompey Platter podcast. Episode 25, Dazzling, Dozzell. I am joined by, as always, right-handed, left-footed Daz. Hello, Daz.
Hello.
And the coach of the next Paddy Lane, Haz. Hello, Haz.
Hello, how are we?
All good, lads.
I'm ready for when the day that John Messino leaves. I'm ready and waiting to take that position and to take
And
us
cry.
down.
And watch the world burn. Right, not much. Normally it's every week lately for the last 2 months. It's been pretty hectic, I'd say. But we've got one game to review and one to preview, which is quite nice, actually.
It is indeed.
So, shall we have a look at the Oxford game then?
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to get the more fun half to talk about? You know what? Daz.
Oh. Well, I had this lot, just in case, the line lined up, which I think everyone has pretty much used for that first half. It was 2 halves within a half, wasn't it?
I was going to say, well, you're going to. I saw nothing of the first half because unfortunately my son's game got delayed, and then even with the delay, we still didn't get in until literally half time. So
yeah. Well, to be honest, I felt up until obviously the unfortunate incident that happened with the fan in the stadium, and I'm really happy that obviously apparently he's doing okay. Is that what their club has come out and said? I believe so. That's good, especially after what happened at home to Middlesbrough. It's those incidents are one of these things where you don't really not appreciate, but you don't really understand it fully unless you've been around it. So obviously from what I saw at the Middlesbrough game, which was horrible, then hearing the news for the Oxford game, it kind of hits home and you kind of feel more sort of connected to it because you've been in that situation. But yeah, it's good to hear that the Oxford fan is doing well, and hope he makes a speedy recovery. But yeah, so obviously up until that incident, I thought we were good. We started pretty well, started on the front foot. Josh Murphy had an opportunity where the ball broke to him not far off of the 18-yard box, which I think he would have been a little bit disappointed they didn't get a better connection. Because out of the whole Pompey squad, for me, Josh Murphy, when he has the ball on the edge of the box, he can hit it so sweetly. He can have so much power, yet keep the ball down. I think he's probably the best striker of the football in our starting 11, especially from those distances, not just shooting, but obviously crossing. But yeah, he had that opportunity, and I think he felt he probably could have done better. Cause I think he might have scuffed it from viewing it. And then also Bishop also had an opportunity where another good cross from the left-hand side from Murphy again. And again, I think Bishop, again, would be a little bit disappointed that he didn't get on target, but I think for him that was the only place he could put it, sort of in that top left as you look at the goal. I think if he just plays it safe and just gets anything on it, the keeper probably saves it anyway. So because it's one of those headers where you're not going to get a lot of pace on it, so you've got to put a bit of loop on it and try and get it as far into the corner as possible. And that's not an easy task to do when you're in that situation. But it was a good header. It was unlucky. And then I was just trying to think of any other incidents before that break in play. And then obviously we had a free kick on the left-hand side, and that is when the incident happened. And then obviously waiting around to see obviously when we're going to restart again. And I think it was a good 20 minutes, half an hour, I believe. So for me, when we came back out, I was hoping that we could like start off where we left, but I didn't feel overly confident because it's not like a couple of minute break and then you can come out and then you hit the ground running again. Like 20 minutes to half an hour is a long time to wait around, to not sure what you're doing, and they still didn't know when they were going to come back out. So I do give the players a bit of leeway for not the greatest performance for that second half of the first half, and to be honest, Oxford were the same as well. I don't think either team really got up some steam. It was definitely it wasn't easy on the eye. It was a bit like itty and bitty. But yeah, we in other games, I think if you take this sort of in the first half of the season, we probably concede in that first half. But the good thing was we looked pretty solid, and Atkinson and especially Matthews, who for me was like man of the match alongside like people like Dozzell and that. We looked really solid. So whenever Oxford did have opportunities, we were able to deal with it. But yeah, so we went into half time 0-0. And apart from a couple of bits, there wasn't really a lot to like call home about, was there?
Yeah, my understanding was the whole game really wasn't the best game to watch, was it? Let's be honest. But
No.
it's sort of good segue into the second half for you then, Harry. Got off to a flying start. Bit of a goalmouth scramble goal, but you take them, and I'm glad Dazzell, my boy, got his first goal for the club. Although I always thought if he did score for us, it'd probably be from like 25 yards. But there we go.
Well, he went for 2.5 yards instead.
Yeah, that'll do.
But yeah, it was a scrappy goal. It was a good ball in from Matt Ritchie for the initial corner. It kind of gets cleared, miss kick from Lang, and then it's a big old pinball in the box. And Rob Atkinson does really well. It falls to him kind of in the corner of the edge of the 6-yard box, and he does what anyone should do and just put it in an area and hope that there's someone there. And you probably wouldn't have expected Dozzell to be there, but it'll be the easiest goal he'll probably ever score in his career. And it was a 1-0, and you kind of thought, is this going to be the moment where we can actually end a 12-game winless run away from home? And it felt like a vital win, and a vital goal, because as Daz said, in the first half we'd had a couple of chances, but maybe Bishop's I thought was pretty clear cut, and I did feel he should have done better in the first half. But it felt like if we'd missed that, it could have come back to bite us, similar to Sheffield United away, where we had so many chances to actually put the ball in the back of the net and we failed to do so. And it came back to bite us, and we didn't want a repeat of that. So it was nice that we were able to take that opportunity. And I think there wasn't anyone else that really deserved it other than Dozzell, because he's been so good recently in the last few weeks, in the last month, particularly where he was dropped out of the team when Hayden came in, and it was Hayden and Potts. And then they've struggled between them. They've both dipped off form. Hayden hasn't exactly come in and hit the ground running. He's been okay, but hasn't been as good as I thought he would. Maybe my expectations were too good when he came in.
I only saw the second half. I thought he was excellent.
He was better that game,
half,
but
yeah.
I'm kind of going back previous games.
Saying, did he have a good game the whole game? Because I only saw the second half.
He tends to drift in and out of the game, which is frustrating for a player of the quality he's got. It felt like he does drift in and out of games, so there'll be points where he's really there, and then there'll be points of the game to me that he's kind of anonymous and kind of.
But that always reminds me of what we used to hear everyone say about Dozzell at the beginning.
Because I don't agree with that, because
I think give Hayden time, he will come good.
Yeah, but he's only got 13 games left. You don't have time when you come in for a 6-month deal. He's been brought in to hit the ground running and do better than what he's doing. There's no mucking about. He should be doing better than what he is overall. I'm not saying he's bad, but
I disagree. I think he's been fine personally.
I don't think he's been good enough. But anyway, so I'll go back. I will come to that. I'll go back to Dozzell and kind of Potts has kind of been drifted in and out. Obviously, he's then been injured, and Dozzell's kind of gone, no, this position is mine. I'm having this, and you have to put one of those two next to me. And it could be Hayden isn't as good next to Dozzell because they're too similar. I don't think they work together very well. But with Potts being injured, there isn't really another option, especially now Moxon's gone. But Dozzell deserved that goal because his performance has been outstanding recently. Couple of other chances, really. Matt Ritchie won the ball up high on the wing, got it into Lang, and you kind of thought, could he ended up taking the shot, but he did have options as well for Murphy and Bishop if he could have passed it. But to be honest, I don't mind Lang shooting. They had a lot of the ball the second half. They had 71% of the possession, which was fine. We kind of, because we had that one goal lead, we kind of sat back. But having two actual centre halves and being able to sit back makes a hell of a difference than having a centre midfielder at the back and trying to sit back and defend with a low block, because it makes such a big difference. They did have a couple of chances. Oxford Schmid again saved us. The ball was played in behind from the deep in the right, and it was played into Plaqueta, one of them. And I thought he should have buried it, to be honest. Swanson was kind of a bit napping, and he should have buried it, but Schmid made himself nice and big again, which he's really good at one-on-ones. He had a couple of struggles in one-on-ones in the last few games where he's let some in, but this was the Schmid that we kind of got used to with one-on-ones, where he makes himself nice and big. He doesn't rush into anything. He takes his time and waits for the attacker, which is more often than not the other way round. The way attacker waits for the keeper to go and then decides. Yeah, so I know they had a couple of chances, but nothing spectacular as such. I know they had that last chance with, I think it was Mills, the sub that came on. He probably should have done better. And then you had Matty Phillips with that header, and that's when you want to ride your luck, and that's where you think, okay, when they don't go in, you know it's your day. And it was lovely to get that second goal, although it was kind of, it didn't make a difference in the end because the game was basically finished anyway. You never know if that goal didn't go in, if Devlin didn't head it that far or something similar to that, then it could have gone another way. And it was, I mean, I don't know how Devlin managed to get such a big head on that, but he absolutely caned it right over the defence, and it was good for Omani to get a goal. Obviously, he's been missing, and he was really on it, kind of on his toes, not flat-footed, thinking, "Oh, we're nearly there. I don't need to chase that." He was on his toes and chased that ball. It was a decent first touch, and it took it away from the defender, and it was a lovely finish, to be honest, into the bottom corner, and that just sealed it. And we ended up 7 points away from relegation, and it's put us in a massive position and a really positive position where we spoke about on the group, where we're kind of thinking we can get another 20 odd points potentially from the rest of the games, which if you went back probably 5 or 6 weeks, we'd have been going absolutely no way. So it's a massive improvement, and just having, despite Shocknessy being out again, as Dad said, Matthews, I thought he's been outstanding since he's come in. You know, a 20-year-old kid coming in from the other side of the world. It's not just from up in London or up in the other end of the country. He's coming from the other side of the world. He's moved everything. He's left his family, his mum, his dad, his whoever else behind, away from his boyhood club. There's a lot of expectation probably on him from there, being the biggest fee for a defender in the league. It's a big moment. There's going to be a lot of eyes from Australia on him. Not necessarily a lot of expectation from us over here, but we needed someone to come in and do something because we lacked any kind of defence, and he came in and he's
Well,
looked really good. And to be honest, he could already be one of the signings of the season, and he's only been here about a month or so. It's not. It's there's. I know Dozzell would be there, and probably Murphy would probably win it, but I think he could be up there. And yes, okay, we've forked out $1.2 million US Aussie dollars on him, but right now, if he carries on, he won't be here for long because teams further up the table will be coming in for 5, 6, 7 million.
He possibly put in the most completed all-rounded performance of the season.
Yeah.
I've got his stats. He got 100% ground duels, 5 out of 5. 5 passes into the final third.
For a centre half, that's mad.
Yeah. You know what I mean? 4 recoveries, 1 successful dribble out of 1, so 100%, 50% aerial duels, 1 out of 2, and 7 clearances.
That's brilliant. I think, as Harry, as you said about expectations, like with Matthews, is that even though he looks right now that he's played half a season at least in this division, I think with his age and all that sort of stuff, what people need to understand is that if in these next 13 games, if he plays the majority of them, there's a chance that one of the games he's going to absolutely shit the bed. And I think for a lad his age, coming from Australia, how far away he's come, is that we allow him that. And we don't put the expectations that he's going to be putting in those kind of performances every week. Because, as I said, with his age and the new league he's in, because obviously he might be working off adrenaline right now, but when it settles maybe in 2-3 games time, I mean, I hope he never does it. I hope he has the best game every single game. But I think fans do need to understand that there's going to be a game where he could potentially absolutely shit the bed. And that is when fans need to get around him and sort of say, do you mean it's fine, it's all right, it's not a problem. Like I've worked with young players like under 18s and under 16s. You have to expect that a player is not always going to be at it, because we wouldn't expect that probably from our senior players. It's even more important with younger players because they need an arm around the shoulder and say, look, it's just part of learning. Like, crack on. We know what you can do. You've shown it, so just keep going.
And at the end, and at the moment, that spot is his. And I know Regan pulls back on the bench, but again, right now he's not match fit. He hasn't played any matches at all
Definitely played over
for months, and also the fact that of how bad Shoknessie's injury is, the fact that he came back and he was kind of pushed in a little bit, but maybe I personally think he was rushed in too much to start. But that might have contributed to his next injury. You don't know that, but I felt like Matthews was unfortunate when he was dropped for Shaughnessy to start. I felt like Matthews was a bit hard done by because he'd actually really impressed when he started, especially now he's next to Atkinson. He's got a proper centre half next to him rather than a central midfielder. He's got some assurance, and Atkinson again, he could be up there for signing of one of the signings of the season as well, because we know he had the talent. We know that he's got the talent, but he went nearly 2 years without playing a football match. It was a massive risk to bring him in. We're not doubting the talent, and we know that if it was a fully fit Atkinson, we know we wouldn't have got him. We took advantage of it, and it's paid so far. It's paid off.
So much Bristol City fans are fuming.
Yeah.
Well, it was a massive gamble because you don't know that the next game he came in or the first game he started or whether he could have broken down and gone, my body's not doing it. But you just don't know, and it's the risk we've taken, and so far it's paid off, and it's made a massive difference, especially having someone like Hayden Matthews there, such a young guy, having a proper experienced tank of a centre half in Atkinson next to him. You've got we sort of talked about it before. We've now got a back four that are in their actual positions. We haven't got people kind of square pegs in round holes anymore. We've got the square pegs in square holes. So it enables a bit more confidence, and it's becoming a familiar. I know the right back changes, but the rest of them, the keeper, the other back three, the kind of Dozzell is at least starting every game. It's becoming more familiar, and that will benefit the likes of Hayden Matthews a lot more, having a familiar experienced. Again, Dozzell is experienced. Schmid's got a good amount of appearances in his career so far.
Yeah, the thing is, I think I agreed with Shaughnessy coming back in, even though Matthews showed really good glimpses, because I just don't think in those other performances Matthews came on, he looked good, but he didn't look undroppable. I think, especially with his age and senior players coming back, But I think that Oxford performance for Matthews is an undroppable performance. And I would be, as I said, I don't think Paul would have come back anyway, but I would be very surprised if he went with Paul. Because if Paul's on the bench, he's fit enough to play some kind of minutes. They think that he can. But I think Matthews' performance is undroppable from Oxford. And I'd be really really perplexed if Matthews was dropped for Saturday.
Yeah, it's got to be Matthews Atkinson again, isn't it? A couple of points I want to talk about the game. You boys got the same thoughts of I'm still worried about Swanson at the moment. I feel like he just keeps caught out too much.
I think Devlin probably starts Saturday.
But we thought that, didn't we, last week? I was quite surprised he didn't.
And that's the thing with I know obviously with Swanson they like obviously because of how he gets forward and what's his name? Devlin can do it as well, but I think Swanson's just that little bit better. But if you do give that sort of defensive side away, and I think especially where we're at in the league, the defensive side is somewhere where you really need to concentrate on. And Devlin did get caught out, especially obviously from that amazing save from Schmidt. I do worry about he's getting caught out way too many times at the moment.
The other thing I want to bring up is obviously the injury to Callum Lang and how that will affect us for the rest of the season. It was one of them where as soon as he did it, you thought that we hoped and prayed it wasn't going to be bad, but I think we all knew deep down it was going to be bad.
Yeah. Well, we said on the WhatsApp group, didn't we, that hopefully because there's sometimes when you're running, like I should know, I've done both my hamstrings. There's the time where you can feel it and you can stop it, but you've still done it. Or there's times when you go that little bit too far and you absolutely pinged it. And I was hoping it was obviously the former, but it looks like it's not. But I'm just clinging on to the likely word they used in that tweet. I'm holding on to that, but we'll see, I suppose.
Yeah. Has you got anything to say on Callum Lang?
I miss you already. I think
big chance for Sheesh now, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. And it's you've got to. It's not good, but also he's not been as Callum Lang hasn't been as influential in the last few weeks since that 4-goal haul. He's kind of been off it, and I think that's not necessarily anything down to him. I think that's down to just probably a bit of exhaustion, and he's just fucking knackered from carrying the team in the first half of the season, really. Obviously, with that, you've got the likes of bringing in Adil Oshish. That's the reason he was brought in, is for cover for kind of that right-hand side and in the 10 role for Richie and Lang. We now need that. We've got KD Gordon as well, who will now, I'm sure, will be used more. So we've got to decide. Well, I think Oshish is that's his. I can't get my bloody words out. That's his position to lose right now, because he's the most natural number 10 we've got. I can't see Richie going in there and Adil Oshish on the wing. Again, there's Freddie Potts is out injured at the minute. He's not really available. So Oshish has got to now. He's shown glimpses, and we've seen glimpses, and he's looked good. He's looked all right off the bench, but he's now got to. He's now got to prove why we've brought him in, and that flair. He's got to be start getting some goals and assists.
Could the likes of O'Mahony or Omani, and obviously Messino said about Yengi being potentially back in the squad as well, so they could maybe play around with sort of that kind of thing, like maybe use Omani.
You can't. We tried Omani in the number 10 before, didn't work. Absolutely killed him.
Yeah, but was that with Bishop up top though?
Yeah.
Was it?
I think so.
I don't think that was.
That was when Bishop first came back. I don't think it matters. I think you're playing a young kid who is a striker as a number 10. It doesn't work. I don't want to see Omani there. I don't want to see Bishop drop back and Yengi up top. I don't want to see anyone apart from Oshish or potentially Gordon there. I'm not interested because it won't work.
You might not have a choice though. Like if
You do have a choice. You play Oshish or Gordon there.
but if one or two of them have to come off, then you're going to have to move something around.
Then you put Christian Sadie because he's the next closest thing to a number 10.
No, I just think when we press, I don't think Christian Sadie does enough. I think someone like Omani could still do that if necessary, but I suppose we'll have to wait and see.
But also, once Yengi's back, now that Lang's out, I think Katie Gordon is almost guaranteed into that squad, which then means that sixth loan will be Omani. And once Yengi's back, I think Omani will probably drop out.
Yeah, I don't know. But after the Oxford game, I don't think he will now. I think that changes bits personally because I think Omani will be more trusted instead of Waddingham at the moment. Now after that, personally, but
and probably I massive big up to Omani for I don't know if you boys noticed when it's before Devlin even wins the header, he gambles
on the move,
that he's going to win it. Doing. And if he didn't do that, he's not in. He gained that momentum in a couple of yards, sort of momentum-wise, a head start to the defender who was caught flat-footed and he was off. And good finish from the young lad as well. They look easy, but they're not.
Definitely.
Last little thing I just want to mention is Josh Murphy, probably our best player at the moment. I would say. I thought he was outstanding again.
Yeah, he's been consistent, isn't he, my boy? He's been consistent.
Daz has replaced his missus on his lock screen of his phone with Josh Murphy now.
No, I'm not that brave just yet. If he keeps us up, I will. But one thing of me, I just wanted to say about the first goal that I know people look at it as a scrappy goal, and it is, but it's a prime example of keeping the ball alive. And when you're in that 18-yard box, the only team that need to be organised is the defence. With an attack, you can have that unorganised or organised chaos, whichever way you want to look at it. But keeping the ball alive, you've got a good chance of getting something out of it because defences will panic if they can't get the ball clear once or twice. And I think that is, for me, that goal is just as pleasing on the eye than Omani's than the second finish, because that's a lovely finish, a lovely take, and any other goal we've scored, to be honest, because they're the type of goals that you're going to more likely score because you're going to get in those positions from corners, from free kicks, and it's important that when we have those opportunities, we finish them. So that's a good thing to see.
Just a bit of fact checking. Omani and Bishop have not been on the pitch at the same time at all this season.
No, it must have been with who was up front. It must have been Yengi up front then.
Maybe because Omani played in the Swansea game. Because Bishop was in that, but I think Omani came on.
Omani came on for Bishop.
Ah, right, yeah. Okay, yeah, because I do remember Omani playing sort of in a game where Bishop would have been involved.
Well, that's the game he came on for Bishop and then got injured and come off again.
Because I remember there was a game at Fratton Park where Omani started up front and someone else came on and went up front. It must have been Yengi then, unless it was Sadie.
Could have been Sadie.
But I've got a Omani went into the 10 and he just looked like he didn't know what he was doing.
I think
he had no idea what to do because he clearly never played that before. And he looked lost, and right now we don't need that.
No, I agree, and I want to play players in their natural positions, 110%. It's just now with Lang out, there's probably going to be a chance where one or two players might have to do something in that attacking line. Because don't get me wrong, Katie Gordon, I hope he comes on and does well, but obviously we don't know enough of him yet. But 100% agree with Harry. Like, we need players in their positions. I was just thinking it from a side where we might not have any choice at some point during a game. But I suppose we'll see, won't we? We'll get an idea on Saturday.
I think the game you're thinking of, Harry, is the Sheffield Wednesday at home. Sadie come off, Yengi came on. Possibly that was when he dropped to a 10.
That might have been it then. There
Yeah.
was definitely a game, and I just saw him, and I just thought he just doesn't look comfortable in that position. So he's the closest to me. If you want to keep Bishop as your starting striker, which you probably will, I think Omani's the closest thing you can get to him.
He does move like Bishop, doesn't he?
He's got a similar body build and a body stature. He's not as effective with holding the ball up and everything, but that would come with time. It's just the inexperience. So if you would, I would rather start Bishop up front and then bring on Omani when he's tired or something like we did pretty much when Bishop came off.
Yeah.
That for me is because if you want to, it depends what kind of style of game you want to carry on playing, right? If you want to stretch the defense, you bring on Yengi, don't you? And because he's got a bit more pace. But if you want to keep the same, but Bishop's saying I need to come off, I've had enough, then Omani's there for who you'd bring on.
Yeah, and when Bishop came off, when I was watching it, I was watching with my mum actually at the time, and I was like, do you know what? I don't mind this because I know we're 1-0 up and the game's not out, but it shows that like Messino feels like he has that option now, which is good.
Yeah, I was just about to say it was quite a positive thing from Omani's point of view to be brought on for Bishop with, they weren't just like a last 5 minutes, let's get Bishop off and, you can have 5-10 minutes of added time. He took him off in the 64th minute, which is, a good sign, a bit of confidence behind who's likely to be the number 2 for the rest of the season.
And I don't think Waddingham or Sadie would have been brought on in that position if Omani wasn't available. I think he just would have kept Bishop up there, just sort of told him just to sort of stick up there and sort of see what you can get out of it.
Yeah.
A mention of Sadie, we keep talking to him, and Archer. I don't know if you see the video, I'm sure you two did. Probably.
Yeah.
Harry's got it on replay of Mourinho's reaction to the second goal. I don't know if you noticed Sadie and Archer in the background.
Sorry, I just got to realise what you said. I think I have watched it in the hundreds. I must have done. I just can't stop watching it.
I've watched it a fair few times.
Because he doesn't normally show a lot of emotion when we score goals. He's normally a very calm, cool, collective head.
Because he knows how important the game was.
At the top of the, I think was it the Preston game where he was banned and you see him properly giving it some.
Yeah, and I think it's again that Preston game. It was kind of like a pivotal moment, wasn't it? And it felt, as I said earlier, it felt like Oxford was a crucial part in our season, because if we lost another one, it would that's another game where we haven't won away. It's 13 now, and we've only got 6 left, and it felt, are we actually going to win one?
Yeah, because Preston was our first home game, wasn't it? We won, and obviously then Oxford was this first away game in God knows how long. So I think Messino just realises how important it is.
Yeah, he doesn't show emotion a lot of the time, but it was an important, and also the fact it was against the team he joined us from, right?
Yeah,
it's not. Although he has a part of them in his heart, it's always nice to kind of do one over your old team as such.
Yeah.
So
another thing, what I love about that video is that when Omani scores and Messino celebrates, you can see in the background the Oxford fans getting up and leaving, and you can hear the sound of the chairs like going where everyone's getting up to go home. It's like bye. But I loved it that Messino turned around to Zes straight away, and then you see as soon as he lets go of Zes, he's looking for John Harley. So it's those. I'm so glad we got those 3 together. They look like they have a good bond. I mean, when they've gone on their away trips and stuff like that, apparently they're always playing like paddleboard with each other and stuff like that. So the key to like having a sort of good squad and things like that is having a good coaching staff, because I've been on coaching staffs and obviously I've played, and you can see the coaches they're all at it. Like it does filter down to the squad. So yeah, it was really nice to see that, and just seeing little John Harley's face was lovely.
He's always smiling.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, I mean, if you take everyone there, as Jess has obviously also played Premier League level with Fulham, but John Harley has obviously been in the top tier for probably a lot longer, and probably play more games up there. So like the influence he probably has on the squad, where all the squad can go to him and speak to him, and they know that he's been at that level, at the very top, which is good, and that's the sort of experience you want there. But he's not too experienced, where he's sort of a bit too long in the tooth. He can still relate to the players now.
Yeah.
That's, and that also goes with what I was going to say about Sadie and Archer is, you got two players not getting a look in, and they're giving it something, and that was like last season when we were Peterborough. You had Towler and I've forgotten his name now, the winger, Josh
Martin.
Giving it with the Pompey fans, and it goes to show there is a real group team mentality here that we never had. Even under Cowley, we never had that.
No.
And that's down to Messinio and Harley and Zesh.
Yeah. And do you know what I think it was like? And I love the Cowleys and stuff like that. But I think, especially like when it's kind of like when we used to win a game under the Cowleys, which obviously was many drew, didn't we? They would celebrate both the Cowleys together, like in front of the threat, and where it kind of feels like John Messina and the group just allow the squad, like they don't take any like sort of like praise or anything like that until a job is done. Like, so Messina at the end of the season, that was the first time we did like fist pumps and stuff like that, wasn't it? So they obviously let the squad be the squad, get together, and and just allow them to fucking get on with each other. And I think Tom from 4-0 written all over it and stuff like that. They all said that when they were out there at the when they go to the away days, in like Spain and stuff like that, everyone's together and it's not like people are separated, which what you can get in probably a lot of squads, especially if you've got players from different countries and stuff like that. So those away team bondings when they go abroad, obviously clearly like get the ball rolling and help.
Yeah, no, I think it's an outstanding job that what they've done, and I know we've kind of spoke about ourselves. How long has our time with Messinio realistically got?
Forever.
I'd love it to be.
I hope so.
I know Harry's really hoping that we get at least another season out of him. I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't here this time next year, but I hope he is here. I just think if he carries on with the trajectory that he's on, I can't see us being able to stop some of the bigger clubs coming in for him, and we all know that someone has come in for him. We don't know when, don't know who, but people are watching.
Yeah, and you got to think of like what club that could have been, like, because it must have been relatively recently that there were some inquiries. Because
do you reckon it was Hull?
Derby? Do you think?
Well, we got a guest on next week. We can ask, can't we?
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's true.
No, he didn't give anything away, did he? I've listened to
but we could maybe. I'm going to try and gather a time frame out of him.
Yeah, and then we can work out from that.
Yeah.
Like, was this
but
within the last few months? Was it earlier in the season? Was it last season?
If we can get one more year out of him, one more season before he leaves, because he is going to leave, because he's one of the most promising young coaches in the country right now.
Yeah.
And as you said, Russ, every man and his dog in the country, Premier League teams even, and high caliber championship clubs are going to be looking and watching what he is doing, because they will have a better insight into the funding and the level of finance that we have here, and seeing how well he can actually do with a limited resources. And so if he's able to then have a bigger budget and a bigger transfer kitty, I know it's easy to say, well, that means he's going to automatically do better. But the likelihood is, because the style of play, you're going to have better players. So that's why I said to you guys in our chat, like, go and give him another new contract. If it means you can keep him for one more year, you can up that compensation fee. You can say double his wages, because he's not going to be here for long. But if it keeps him here for one more season, then it's better than losing him by October or something.
Me, you, Daz, and God knows how many thousands more people would. I just don't think the Arsens would.
I mean, I'd like to think that the relationship he probably has with Richard Hughes, because that looks like they have a good relationship. You always see him laughing with each other. That will mean that we can keep hold of him just for a little bit longer. Now, I don't mean as in like a little bit longer for another year, but from when he probably should be expected to move on, we can keep him on just for a little bit longer than that. But as I said,
I dread it every time a manager's sacked.
yeah. Well, this Middlesbrough thing, like obviously because Carrick looks like he's about to go, that did worry me when I saw it. But I would, excuse me, I'd think that now in this part of the season, I don't like, unless it's like a big Premier League job, I just don't think Messina would go. I mean, I'm bloody jinxed it now, and but like,
I think he'd want to see it out. I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think he'd want to see the season out, and just if he could keep us up, which I think he will, then he'd want to finish a job, and then he'd go, do you know what? I'll finish that, then I can go somewhere else. But it would be the appointment after that would be probably bigger than even pointing Messino.
Yeah, but I think as long as we have Richard Hughes here, I would like to think that he can pull another rabbit out of the hat, because he's clearly done it quite a few times. Obviously, did it with Rob Edwards, didn't he? So you'd like to think that he'd be able to do that again, and hopefully, as I said, those conversations with Messino, he could maybe give more of a heads up and give Richard Hughes more time to have a look and stuff like that, isn't it? But I mean, it's if buts and maybes at the moment. So let's hope we don't have to have this conversation for at least another season.
Yeah, stop, because I'm going to cry. All right. So,
moving on. Right, let's go and have a look ahead to Saturday's game at home to QPR. Before we give our predictions, Harry, what's the table at the moment?
So after the Oxford result, Russ got the correct result, so he got 3 points.
Again, twice on the trot. Yep.
Yeah, 2 in a row. That's pretty decent. Myself and Daz both got the correct outcome. So we both got 1 point. So Daz, you are still bottom on 22. I'm second on 23, and Russ has pulled away slightly onto 27.
Ooh.
Happy days.
Bearing in mind, a mere 5 weeks ago, he was about 4 or 5 points clear bottom.
Yeah.
So he's shot right up. He's done a Pompey.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Right. Harry, I'm going to let you go first, because I'm not like Daz and take away all the fun of taking away all your stats.
Oh,
that's Harry's job.
Yeah. So they've been doing all right. They've obviously picked up a hell of a lot since we last played them.
Well, I had them down as definitely down, and they're the shittest team I've ever seen.
Well, when we played them, they were pretty shite, weren't they? But they've picked up a lot since then. They've had a mixed bag. They haven't drawn a game since December, so they either win or they lose. Like, it's kind of one or the other. There's no middle ground. So the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the last 7 games, they've had 4 wins, 3 losses. Last time out, they absolutely whooped Derby 4-0, which was lovely for us. We don't mind that. But then they lost away to Coventry. They've been better at home, definitely, than away. But obviously, Elias Chair's obviously their star man as usual. But Yang Min Hyuk, who's come on loan from Spurs, he's come in on their right wing, and he's been doing pretty decent. He's been settled in very well, and QPR fans are pretty excited about him. So that's a bit of a task for Ogilvie to keep hold of. The referee is Thomas Bramall. He's reffed Premier League, Championship, National League, and League 2 this year. He reffed us this season in our 1-0 loss away to Sunderland, and the last game before that was our FA Cup away loss to Spurs. So we only won in the last couple of years. But he doesn't really do cards. I know he gave Marlon Pack a red card, but the other games were like two yellow cards, 1 yellow card, 1 yellow card. So he's not a card happy guy, which is probably what we want, really. I'm fed up with all these twats that turn up and card everyone. because it just slows the game down. So it might be a bit of a faster paced game, to be honest. So, yeah, let's see if we can extend that. We could end up 10 points away from relegation after this, which
Well, I was just about to
would
say,
be unreal if we
looking
did.
at the fixtures this weekend, you've
'Cause
got Plymouth and Cardiff.
Plymouth, Cardiff, you want that to be a draw or a Cardiff win.
Draw, but I wouldn't mind a Cardiff win as
Yeah.
long as we something. I mean, you
Draw
got
or a Cardiff win with that.
yeah. You got Mill. Hopefully, Mill will do Derby or draw again. Hull away to Sunderland, so hopefully Sunderland batter them.
Come on, Sunderland.
Norwich, Stoke a tricky away game to Norwich. So, you know, this is another, and Oxford away to West Brom. This is another weekend where you think if we can get a win, we're just flying away.
Even if we pull up again and it ends up if it ends up 8 points away, if we can just keep increasing that gap to what's underneath.
Yeah, I think if the results go away, a draw wouldn't be the end of the world.
No, but we've got to go out there to win. We've got to keep going.
100%. So in that case, what are you going for, Haz?
So I am going to go for. Hang on a minute. What am I doing?
You're going to stick with his list that you sent us the other day.
Let's go. See, they scored 4 in the last game, but then they didn't score. 3-0 Pompey.
Oof. I
And
swear you went for a draw on your list. I'm trying to find it.
did I go for a draw on that? Did I?
He did, yeah.
I'm changing it. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm feeling positive. We'll go 3-0 Pompey, and we will go for. Yeah, let's go Ushish. He's coming in.
Nice. Daz?
Yeah, I think obviously about up until a couple of weeks ago, probably wouldn't have felt that, especially the way QPR have been and their trajectory after we played them. that I'd be confident that we would get all 3 points. I'd probably look at it more as a draw. But I think with their backline, especially Ronnie Edwards coming down to Fratton Park, I would like to think the likes of Bishop is going to relish that, because I think, don't get me wrong, Ronnie Edwards looks like a good player, but every time he's been down Fratton, or every time we've played him, we've bullied him.
Man into the ground near enough every time.
Yeah, so
it's a shame Yengi's not around, actually, because he would have scared the shit out of him after last year.
Well, but Bishop for his goal, didn't he? Bishop pretty much wrestled into the ground, got up,
offered him his shirt, if I remember right.
And
he said, "Do you want my shirt?"
He led down and shouted in his ear, didn't he, when he was on the floor? Yeah. So I'd like to think Bishop is going to probably relish that. And Steve Cook is obviously.
He's old now, isn't he?
He's old, a bit different, but I think these two centre backs are two centre backs that, I mean, Bishop likes to play against most centre backs, doesn't he? But I think he'll relish more this, because I think he'll get more change out of them. I am going to go with Pompey 2-1 win, and I'm going to go for Bishop as well.
Nice. I'm also going to go 2-1, and I'm going for. No, I'm going to go for an Ogilvy goal. It's due one.
Tasty.
I love that he's due one and he's left back and he scored 2 games ago, something like that. That's what I love. That's what you want. You want your defenders and that getting in on the act as well, because the goals from Bishop and Lang, Murphy, Ritchie, and that lot was good, but it's goals from other areas that are more likely to keep you up.
Yeah, 100% agree. Right, unless there's anything else to say, should we move on to Haz vs Daz?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go, boys.
So, this week, I texted the boys and said, I want your worst Pompey 11 in a 4-4-2 since 2012 to now. And basically, any player we got the same in the same positions as they got as me, they get a point.
Cool.
You got? Did you get some subs just in case?
I've got 3 subs. Yeah,
I got subs.
Right. So I'm going to ask alternatively your team. Right, but we go position by position, obviously.
Yeah.
And then if you got the same, you get a point. Simple. So Daz, who have you got in goal?
In goal, I was torn between 2, but the one I'm going to go for is Sullivan.
Who was the other? Just out of curiosity.
Allsop.
Yeah, he was shocking, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Has
Also, Allsop's got an honourable mention for me, but number one was Phil Butterfingers Smith.
oh, good shout. But I went with Sullivan.
Yes. Get in, boy.
Who is probably, I know he had a lot of mental health issues and
Yeah.
things like that, but let's just forget that for the moment. It's purely basing it on football.
Performance.
The worst goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life. From
He's living it up in Vegas, I think.
oh yeah, you know, I'm happy for him.
He's
as
a
person.
realtor. He's a realtor, whatever you call him. And he's loving life out there, I think.
But he generally is the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen. But that also weren't far behind.
No.
Right, right back. Haz, you can go first this time.
I think there's only one, and he did a Harry's Who Am I on him, and that's Drew Talbot. He's just there's not much else to say. Just dog shit, absolute dog shit.
Yeah. Obviously I went for Talbot as well, so we'll have to do that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do I have to pick
Yeah, you can pick with whatever.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I went for Talbot as well. Torn between two, but I went to Talbot.
Who was your second?
Pasley, whatever you call him.
So I think I haven't gone for Talbot.
Have we not?
No. He may have put the most single worst performance I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But there was a much worse right back.
Oh, is it Al-Fa'i?
No, it is. I can't remember his name. Was it Yassin Moatakil?
Yassin Mutakil.
Yeah.
To be fair though, when we played Oxford away in the Paint Trophy, when I think it was the first season we'd been relegated League Two.
Yeah, I think he dinked the goalie, didn't he?
He put one of the best crosses in I've seen at a football match. He was perfect. He landed on John Marquis's head the first time he was with us.
But other than that, shocking. I still remember Plymouth away in a 1-1 drawn Sky, and the cross come in, no pressure, and he chested it straight out to, I think it might have been that Hularan, or whatever his name is, and then he just lashed it in, and he was horrendous. So no points there. Your first centre back, Daz?
Paul Downing.
Samesies. Samesies, yeah. I've gone for Paul Downing, so you both get a point. Your second one?
Joe De Vera.
I've done Ben Chorley.
Yeah, it's Ben Chorley. Just because De Vera got it because of that mad goal he scored.
Yeah.
That was the only separate thing I could pick between the two. I almost went for Sam Stodgy because didn't he match fix in one of our games?
Yeah, he did, wasn't it? Was that our game or was that
it was
for another team?
He purposely got sent off, didn't
he? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so he gets an honourable mention. Left back, which I actually found quite tricky, but you might have forgotten someone.
Who's going first?
Who went first? So Daz goes first.
Yeah. Again, it's quite tricky. The only one I went for because he didn't live up to expectation was Charlie Daniels.
Oh, that's a shout.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He didn't live up to expectation, but he wasn't shit.
No, exactly. But that's the. But the other, I've got two other left backs, but I just thought Daniels out of all of them. I was going to say Paul Daniels for a second.
Probably would have been better.
Yeah.
Haz?
Again, this is probably the position that left side of the team I really struggled with. But
I'm quite surprised because there was a really obvious left winger.
But I went for Joe Mattock, but I
thought he would done all right, didn't he, Joe Mattock?
I don't know. I just fucking picked some random left back that we had for that because I couldn't think of anything.
I went for one of your Who Am I's. I went for Marcus Painter.
Painter was on my list. I've got 3 left backs, but Daniels was the one I went for.
Has your right wing or mid or whatever?
Lloyd Isgrove.
Did he play?
Well, I don't give a shit if he played or not. He was here, but that proved how bad he was.
Judge a player that hasn't even.
If he didn't even play a minute for us, that's how bad the signing was, and that's how bad he was. So Lloyd Isgrove.
Okay,
dirty scummy bastard.
I haven't gone for Lloyd Isgrove. I went on players actually. I saw with my eyes. Daz?
I went with, I can't remember if he definitely played right mid, but Bocco.
Romy Bocco.
Yeah.
That's not a bad shout. I don't know if you boys remember this player. I couldn't believe he played 20-odd games for us. I nearly fell off my chair when I looked. I think his first name is Jack Compton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Was horrendous. It looked like a person that won a lottery or won a prize to play a few games for Pompey. He was.
Did we get from Chelsea's academy, or was he at Chelsea at one point?
No, I think he was a bit older. He was from our academy. He went off elsewhere.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Does it count?
Well,
Do I get a point because I've got him in a different position? I've got him on the left.
Yeah, oh, yeah. If you got him in your team, yeah, that's fine. So I'll give you a point. Yeah. There's 3-2 at the moment. Who went first last? I've forgotten already.
I did.
Okay, Daz, one of your centre mids. Doesn't matter which one.
Bryn Morris.
Yeah, I think that was pretty obvious, isn't it? I'm sure you got that as well, hasn't you?
No, I don't actually.
Oh, no.
He's got an honourable mention.
Yeah.
So Daz, just name one of yours.
Miguel Aziz.
Miguel Aziz.
Yeah.
Aziz. Oh yeah, you know what? That's a shout. That is.
Yeah, he's an honourable mention for me.
That is
his
a shout.
attitude absolutely stunk. He was attitude of bloody Zlatan.
Yeah, I know what I feel.
Ability
bad.
of fucking whoever, like less than me. Like he was awful.
Well, I feel like I've done you dirty there because I completely forgot he existed. Who's your other centre mid?
Nick Orford.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? Who'd you go for, Daz?
See, Orford was my one of my honourable mentions along with Pandavani, but I went with Adam May just because
he did all right.
Did he?
Yeah, see, May. It was between May and Orford, but Orford was terrible.
Was it when we played? I can't remember who we played now. We had Adam May and Ben Close, I think, in centre mid, and we got absolutely dominated. And it's not their fault because they were like young players at the time, weren't they? So, Adam May was mine just because he had played more games. So I think because I looked on like transfer market, and Orford had only played like one game, but I don't know.
Yeah, one game, and that was enough. Yeah. Even his own dad's got fucking rid of him after that.
Oh, bless.
That's how bad he was. That his dad got rid of him. Yeah, that might be the worst. That and Drew Talbot probably had the worst performance you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
Right, Haz, I'm interested in your left winger.
So that was Compton.
Oh, Jack Compton. So we know yours, yep. Daz?
I put Kennedy.
Matty Kennedy?
Yeah.
He done all right. He was. I thought for the first 3 months he was really good.
I thought he had that one chance against Northampton, and the other was like I thought that was about it. Didn't really light up for me. He was the sort of player. It was like
a lot worse
fur coat, no knickers kind of thing. Like.
Well, so hang on, I want to ask you, boys. I was interested I haven't put him on my list, but I know he's a real marmite. He causes so much debate. Like my mate despises him.
Yeah.
Not Ricky. What was his fucking name? Ricky Holmes.
I thought he was all right.
He got named. Was he named like a player of the season for us?
Yeah. And I thought my mate was going to throw his season to get on the pitch when that happened.
Another player I had here was old. Is it Walker, the Gibraltar guy?
Liam Walker.
Liam Walker.
He had techers though, so
yeah.
No, he was all right. There's a montage of him on YouTube. When you watch it, he actually done all right. So the actual left wing I went with is probably the player I despise the most out of that sort of time frame, anyway, and that's that Viv Solomon Ottenbore. I cannot stand that player.
Is that just because of the offside goal?
That wasn't just his fault.
The offside goal. The fact the bloke couldn't keep a ball on the pitch.
Yeah.
The fact, I know this ain't his fault, but the fact Jacket started him over low.
Yeah.
The playoffs. Oh, I hate him. And he was shit as well.
He went and played for CSKA Sofia, didn't he? After
I,
us,
I think he got quite a bit of abuse out there. I think he got quite a bit of. I don't know whether it's true or whether this happened or not, because I might just be getting out of like thin air or something. But I think he got a bit of like racial abuse out there.
yeah,
I
he
think.
did.
He did.
I think he terminated his contract over it in the end.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah.
It's horrible.
No. So he was the first name on the list. So I built the team round him. Strikers. Now there's a lot.
Mate, you could field 2 11s with strikers.
So this is a bit of a battleships, I think, if you hit and miss.
Yeah.
So has one of your strikers.
We'll go for the older one, or a longer time ago. Ryan Bird. Just
Okay.
yeah, shit, mate. Couple. I'll give me honourable mentions while I'm here. Curtis Main.
Yeah.
Sean Williams. No, not as a striker, but Sean Williams. Josh
Yeah.
Griffiths. Gatana had me.
Yeah.
John Marquis.
Well, the only thing that stopped me with John was he gave us the Exeter game moment. I know he didn't go on to anything, but at the point, and also he did get 16 in one season. So
Great, but he could have had 30 if he actually found where the back of the fucking net was.
I agree, but we have had a lot worse.
Yeah.
But that's why he got an honourable mention and not in the team. So yeah, my
definitely.
first striker is Ryan Bird.
Ryan Bird. Okay, and who are you going for, Daz?
Walker.
Oh, you know what? He nearly got him for me.
What, Tyler Walker?
Tyler Walker.
Yeah, I've got him as my second striker.
All right, so there's no Walker, but there is a Bird.
Oh, good work, mate.
That's 4-4. Who's your other striker, Daz? We know Harry's both.
Torn between two. Adam McGurk.
That's another great shout. That is. But I went for someone again who I despised, and this might be a bit controversial because you probably both say there was worse than him, but I thought he was a fucking donkey, and that's Ellis Harrison.
Do you remember, I had James Vaughan. I thought he would probably
Nearly put him in. The strikers was the hardest to nail down.
it's too many.
I think Ellis Harrison was harsh because he was.
Yeah, I get that. It's more of a personal thing.
He didn't.
It's not a personal thing, right? Okay, it's about performance.
He fucked me off, so it is personal.
He was signed as Kenny Jackett's striker, and then because we made the money from Lowe and from Clark, the board went fuck it, let's go and buy the guy that scored the most goals in the league last year. Because Marquis didn't suit Jackett's style of play, whereas Ellis Harrison did. And then, yeah, I don't believe that Marquis was a Jackett signing, and I don't think he wanted him. But
No.
I think Ellis Harrison
great,
didn't get the chances he deserved because of that.
Yeah, and because I think it's one of Andrew Moon's podcasts. It just sounded like that Ellis, like Marquis, like they'd already got Harrison, and then all of a sudden Marquis became available to buy, and we went in there and just got the deal done. So I'm guessing, yeah, that's probably hampered Harrison. But I thought when we played, because he started against Arsenal in the FA Cup at home, didn't he? I thought he absolutely terrorised Arsenal's back line.
That weren't hard at the time, though. They were a fucking bunch of pussies, weren't they?
Yeah. So are we even?
My thing with Ellis Harrison is I can never forgive him for the playoffs where how could you score an own goal? The bloke was more deadly in his own box than there was in our box, in the opposition box. So I knew it was controversial. I did warn you that I thought Downing was going to be controversial, but you both had him, so it didn't matter.
He's just dog shit, mate.
So yeah, so subs. So what I thought is, I'm assuming you picked 3 each, yeah?
Yeah.
Pick one each, and if I have them, you get the point and get the win.
All right. Do you go first, Haz?
Basically, you choose your weapon. Go when you're ready, whoever.
I'll go first, I suppose. I'll go with Winter.
Okay.
Alex Winter.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, shit. Who do I pick? Fuck it. Michael Morrison.
I don't have either of those.
Again, then.
Yeah, go again.
The next one I'll go for is Tom McIntyre.
Do you know how much you've defended that bloke? And you put him on the bench.
I almost put him down. I thought I can't put him down.
I defended him once. I defended him for the Derby game because he got
that was one too many.
He got too much stick because it wasn't just him; it was the whole 11. I didn't like the fact he got too much blame. That was it.
No.
I'll go Tom Craddock.
Yeah, he was on the bench. Yeah, well done.
Well
done, Harry.
The poor lad just broke it. The poor lad broke his leg. You can't put him on the bench for that.
He was fucking shit.
He was shit, Daz. Shut up.
No, poor lad.
So
disgusting.
The strikers were hard. We could have gone on and on, to be honest. And that's throughout Pompey's history. That's not even just recent. There's so many. I'm sure me and Daz could probably name a load from the 90s alone.
Jesus, yeah.
So that now takes the overall score. Daz 10, Haz 7. Haz, you're starting to catch up again.
Oh.
Happens every time. I'll get within about 1 or 2 of Daz, and then he pulls away by 4 or 5.
Yeah. Make it interesting.
So next week, you're going to do the best 11. I thought we'd do it from the year you started going, Harry, which is 2006, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the 06-07, but the rule is you can only have 4 English players.
4 English players.
Ooh.
Just name the FA Cup team.
Yeah, exactly. There's a big limit of how many players you can have per season then.
Yeah.
Okay, do that then.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? 2 a season?
Yeah.
So if we do any nation, but you can only have 2 per season.
Yeah, because otherwise we would both literally go the FA Cup team and maybe Colby Bishop in there or something, you know?
Because that will literally be the best team we've ever had.
Yeah, exactly.
So from 2006-07 season, the best 11, 4-4-2 again?
Yeah.
But you can only name 2, and that includes your bench and all.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Right. Best time of the week about to come up.
There we go. I had to rewrite that. That was fun.
Sounded even better.
It does sound even better, doesn't it?
It does.
Right. Clue number 1. I have played at 4 English clubs, but only scored at Portsmouth.
Is it one of them useless strikers that we talked about? 4 English clubs, but only scored at Pompey.
I mean, if he was one of these useless strikers, he wouldn't have scored for us. He would have scored for someone else.
Oh yeah, true. Actually, yeah. No, I'll give you that. I'm gonna go someone really random. Kit Simons. I don't know.
Incorrect. Oh, hang on, wait. I've got that. Hang on. Wait.
Oh.
There we go.
Forgot about that. I was like, what's he looking for?
See, I know he played for 4 English clubs. That's the only reason why I went for him.
Yeah.
Pompey, Man City, Fulham, Palace.
I'm just trying to think. This is a tough one. I really just don't know. Don't know.
He said 4 English clubs. He might be foreign. Wasn't just clubs, was it?
Curtis Main. I don't know.
You're shit.
I deserve that. I just couldn't think.
Clue number 2. I have scored 45 goals in 127 professional appearances.
Gee, so he is an attacking player then. I thought he was going to be a defender or something.
40. How many? 45.
45
Yeah?
in 127.
127.
So that
Four English clubs, but that doesn't mean he hasn't played abroad, doesn't it? Or Scotland or something like
or was
that.
that his career?
Career.
So he's obviously
Not someone like Steve Lovell or Rowan Vine, is it?
Is that your
Rowan-
guess? Which one of them is your guess?
Rowan Vine he's definitely scored for like Luton in the Football League.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
But what about Steve Lovell? Didn't he play in Scotland most of his career? But he probably would have gone on loan. I'm going to go for it. Steve Lovell.
What other clubs would Rory Allen have played for? Is it just us, or would he have played?
No, we got him from Spurs, and that was it.
Because then after that, he quit to go watch the cricket, didn't he? Something after that.
Yeah, he just fell out of love with football, didn't he?
Yeah. Wow, because that's not many appearances for the amount of goals he scored.
No, but also he had scored for Tottenham as well. So,
but what I mean is, actually, this matey who we're talking about now, 147 appearances. 147, wasn't it? Appearances.
127.
Oh, 127. That's even worse. So that's like
maybe someone
for like 4 or 5
young?
full seasons.
Might be someone young. Maybe someone at the club now.
Yeah, could be. Never know. Ben Tollett.
Scored 40 odd goals. That's a good goal ratio, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because he played in the like National League and stuff like that. So maybe he scored a fair few goals there.
Right, clue number 3. The 4 English clubs I played for were Newcastle, Blackpool, Pompey, and Carlisle.
I don't think I could work this out.
Newcastle, Carlisle, and who else?
Blackpool.
Is that in that order? Or...
No.
So he's probably started up at Newcastle or Carlisle, gone to one or the other, then to either us and or Blackpool. I would reckon.
Can't be many Pompey Blackpool players. That's the route I'm going down. Is how many players have played for Pompey and Blackpool? The only one in my head I've got is Owen Dale, but it ain't it.
No, because he's only scored for us out of those 4 teams, wasn't it? So are we saying that he scored most of his goals with us? Must be it, isn't
it? What was the first question, Harry?
I have been at 4 English clubs, but only scored at Pompey. I have scored 45 goals in 127 professional appearances. The 4 English clubs I played for are Newcastle, Blackpool, Carlisle, and Pompey.
So he's either... Yeah, that way he's then scored all of his... I know he might have played abroad, but that means the goal score. So, I mean, he could have scored the majority of those 45 with us. Maybe.
But he's only... Well, I said he could... Well, he might not be even abroad. It could be just English clubs. It could still be Swansea or Cardiff.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think, personally, he started at somewhere like either Carlisle or Newcastle, because obviously they're up there. Then he's gone to one of the other. So maybe he started for Carlisle and Newcastle brought him in, and then he's then gone on to either Blackpool or Pompey and vice versa, stuff like that. I think he might be a northern lad. I reckon. Yeah.
Just trying to think of players who have both played for us and Blackpool. There can't be many. I don't really remember any other than Owen Dale. Lualua did, but he obviously scored elsewhere.
That's what I literally was about to say, Lualua, because obviously Newcastle, but
he obviously played more than 100 odd games as well.
Yeah, and because that's what I feel. I would think that he was at Newcastle and he went on loan to Carlisle, and then
maybe went on loan to Blackpool,
and maybe on loan to Blackpool, and then
probably didn't know that went on loan.
Because up north, I don't know, I just get that feeling he's might not even be a northern lad, might obviously be a Newcastle player that's coming from abroad. Jesus, this is annoying.
I will put a timer on.
Yeah, don't blame you.
I really thought the team thing was going to help when he said I played for. I thought I'm going to get it now, but so I reckon you're right.
Oh no, I was about to say someone else said that, and then I realised how many goals he scored. Like, no, it can't be him.
Who was it?
I think Andy Griffiths. Is it Andy Griffiths, the wing fullback? Because he was. I didn't actually say. That wasn't a guess.
It was. You went, is it Andy Griffiths? So that's a guess.
But I'll be shocked if he scored 45 goals.
That's what I said. I said I was going to say this, but then I realised the goal ratio and Russ said, "Oh, who was it? You're thinking of?" I said,
I'm just hearing excuses. I'm taking it as a guess, Daz, just to move it on. Russ.
All right, that's it. I was going to be Haz Vs Daz is going to be over in a couple of weeks. I'm just going to start.
What's Haz Vs Daz going to? Oh, you mean you're going to annihilate him? Right?
Yeah. Do it. I don't care.
Sportsmanship's out the window now.
Yeah. Come on, Russ.
Oh, this is going to kill me because I can't think of a Pompey and Blackpool player other than Owen Dale and Awala. I honestly don't know. I've got to give up this week.
It is Elias Sorensen.
Fuck. You know what I said? Did I not say he's probably a recent player?
Jesus, didn't think about it, did we?
So he obviously was signed by Newcastle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But never knew he went to Blackpool.
He went to Blackpool on loan, played one game.
Jesus,
then he went to Carlisle on loan.
I was on loan. I thought he signed.
Yeah, and then that was cut short after 3 months. He made 8 appearances, and then he made 12 appearances, scoring 1 goal for us.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah, I don't think the English game's for him, is it? I think.
No.
So, but to be fair, I never knew he went to Blackpool. I knew he was at Carlisle, but not Blackpool. Fair enough. Good one, Harry. Caught us out there, right under our nose.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So we're on to any other business now, aren't we? Have we got any?
Any other business?
I haven't. I can think of right now.
Shall we just quickly run through what we've listed as our next lot of fixtures? What we think we're going to finish them as?
Yeah, go on then, Harry. Or are you going to change yours and add 2 more points? It was the same as mine.
Sorry, I'm just watching a fight on the pitch at the minute. It's kicking off between Ajax and Union Saint-Gilloise. Ajax have proper shat the bed.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, they were 2 up. They're 2-0 down, so it's 2-2 on aggregate. Davy Klaassen was sent off for doing a handball on the line. And now they've just tried to have a punch-up. So, sorry, I was watching that.
Henderson play for him.
That's why I'm watching it, because Bergie's there.
Yeah, but does Jordan Henderson still play for Ajax?
He's on the bench.
Yeah, he's still there, though, yeah?
Yeah, but I'm only watching it because Burgess is there.
Yeah, I forgot they were playing tonight.
Burgess.
Right.
Well, I'm just trying to find. I'm just trying to find it.
I've got mine.
You go yours first, then.
Right, so I've got QPR home, as we established earlier, to win. Luton away, I've got us to win. Leeds, I've just got a feeling we're going to get something, so I went with a point. I think Plymouth's going to be harder than what we think. They're going to come and be a bit like Millwall. I've gone for a point. Away to Preston, loss. Huddersfield. I don't know why I was going to say Huddersfield. Blackburn at home, I've gone for a win. Then they've gone for 2 losses away, double away games of Millwall and Coventry. I think we're going to beat Derby 7-0. Norwich a point. I think we can nick a point up there, beat Watford and shout Bar in Bar's face. Lose Sheffield Wednesday because I swear we always lose there, except for the year we got promoted to the Premier League. And then we end it by either relegating Hull or just beating them just because we can. And we end on 21 points from them games, which will leave us on 57. Are we on
Right.
36? Yeah, 57.
Yeah. So I obviously in R1 I put QPR a draw. I've kind of changed my mind reading into the stats and stuff. So that was a draw. Luton draw. Leeds I put loss. Plymouth win. Preston and Blackburn and Millwall 3 draws in a row. Lose to Coventry. Beat Derby. Lose to Norwich. Beat Watford, and that's where we secure our safety. As Russ said, give a load of shit to Bar. And then lose to Sheffield Wednesday, and then beat Hull. So again, 21 points. And please, John, stay. Don't leave.
Go then, Daz.
Right. I went with. Hold on, let me get back quickly. I went with win at QPR at home. Luton away went for another win. Leeds at home went for a draw. I think at home, I think we can get anything out of anyone. Plymouth then at home, I've gone for a win. Preston and Blackburn went for a draw with both. Millwall and Coventry away, I went for us to lose both. Derby at home to win. Norwich away, lose. Watford at home, win. Sheffield Wednesday away, lose. And Hull at home, win our last game of the season.
So
there obviously are some I'd think maybe could turn draws into wins and losses into draws and that, but had to be a little bit sensible.
So we all got us to lose 4 games. We've all got us to lose away to Coventry and away to Sheffield Wednesday, and we've all got us not to lose a single game at home for the rest of the season.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yep.
Believe.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
As one of you sent the Ted Lasso, isn't it? Believe.
Because the thing is, I think away because at home, obviously, when we're playing the likes of Leeds, like we will play a certain way, and I think we're good at getting results like Burnley at home, Sheffield United at home. And I would like to think the Millwall home game where we lost will be a learning curve for how we play when teams around us come down to us, because they're going to play a certain way. I would guess they'd probably play the Millwall way and how good they were, but we'll see. But it's nice to be beating Plymouth, especially like putting one past that their defender who's got a top knot who celebrates when he sneezes and blows his nose. So if you've seen him, every time he makes a tackle, he celebrates it.
I haven't seen it.
Don't get me wrong. Like making a great tackle at certain points in the game is celebration worthy, but he literally celebrates every tackle. It's like, mate, like you don't get a postman doing cartwheels when they put letters in the letterbox and walking off. Like, just that's your job, mate. It's your job.
All right,
So just do it.
It's his job.
Exactly. Well,
it's his job.
Woke,
but the fact,
it's
you know
utter,
what?
utter woke nonsense.
It reminds me of the Euros where 3 minutes in, what's his fucking name? The Arsenal left. Tierney does a man, and they all pump their chests together, celebrate like they just scored a goal, and then immediately from that concede.
Yeah, it was the best bit of their tournament, wasn't it? Like winning a tackle, and I think they got a throw.
They got a whooping as well in the end, didn't they?
Yeah. Was that against Germany?
Yeah, that was the first game. So they literally within the space of the first 3 minutes, Tierney makes a tackle. They celebrate it like they won the World Cup, and from that they concede and then go on to get absolutely slaughtered.
And that's the thing. If it's a last-minute tackle, and if it's a last-minute, last-ditch tackle that will win you the game, I haven't got a problem with it getting up. It's like if a keeper makes an amazing save that keeps you in the game or wins you the game, kind of stuff. You get up and you celebrate, and the players that ain't got a problem with that one a little bit. But he celebrates over every fucking tackle, and it's like it's like just a little bit too cringe for me. Like I just it's not for me. Thank you very much.
Life.
And the haircut as well. I mean,
you're just jealous because he's got more hair than you'll ever have.
Mate, trust me, I'd rather not have a single hair on my body than have my hair like that. I'm all right. There's some people that just don't deserve air.
One thing I am glad, looking back at the season, is I'm really glad that, remember our players used to try and pump the crowd up?
Yeah, I'm glad we stopped that.
Oh my God, like that.
I've heard it's because of this podcast and Russ.
Threatened to kill him.
Yeah.
Word got out.
Yeah.
It
But
just was. There was nothing wrong with the atmosphere. We've been with you the whole fucking way. Like they used to whine the shit out of me.
And I say I haven't got an issue with if a player makes a good tackle or like something in the game happens which everyone gets up and cheers and they just turn around and give a little fist pump to the fans. I ain't got a problem with that. But them like trying to hype people up, it's like we're already hyped enough.
They were the ones that needed hyping up at that point, not us.
I know, it was just so bizarre. It was, and I've never seen Pompey players ever like you'd get it now and again, like Curtis would do it if he could notice the crowd was a bit of a lull. Obviously, Steve Stone used to have a great rapport with the North Stand and get him going. Like he didn't mind the odd little moments, but it was like every player, every time the ball went out for a throw in, it was like, and it was like, fuck off. What are you doing?
Get on with it. Throw the ball in.
Do you know what I mean? But the atmosphere was fine. That's the bit. You know, there was no lull. There was never a point where we wasn't behind you. Like I don't think that this season you could ever really question the atmosphere. Like it's been. I don't think I've heard a boo once towards the team, unless I've missed something. Have you?
No. I think you're more likely to get boos off of X off certain people. That's about it.
Yeah. I'm expecting a lot of hate towards Ronnie Edwards Saturday, even though I don't think he actually put a scum shirt on, did he?
I think he did in I think he did. Oh, where was it? They got absolutely pumped. I mean, that doesn't narrow it down. But,
let me just think of all 20 odd games they played or whatever they had.
Yeah, I think he has. I think he came on once. I think he might also. No, I don't think he may have played in a cup game or anything like that. I'm just going off like stuff that I hear some of my family talking about on X and stuff like that. But I'm holding back the proper piss taking. With hopefully we'll be in the same league next year. So
we want that too, though. We want that too.
Yeah, but I'm just waiting just in case because supporting Pompey, I know that nothing's ever straightforward. So I'll hold as you know, you were saying, Harry, about jinxing things and stuff like that. One just to wait. But I think he's played like one appearance off the bench. I think.
Yeah,
he's one. They signed him as one for the future, didn't they? So.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think if we can he still hasn't really played in that sort of environment. Like, obviously, he'd played at Fratton Park with Peterborough, but no one really cared with him, did they? Really, the fan base didn't care with him because it was just down to Bishop battling him and stuff like that. But if we can make him the centre of attention and proper batter him, will he fold? Well, we'll see.
Let's give it a go.
It'd be good. Yeah, why not?
He always did against us. He always.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and that was without us being on his back. If we can be on his back from minute one, and if he fucking comes through the game and plays really well, and fair play to him, but you never know. Just give him some and then see what happens.
Have they got any other scammers in their team?
Don't think so. Obviously, Steve Cook was Bournemouth.
That's fine.
That's fine. They're all right.
Zero rivalry with them.
And what I like about Bournemouth is they hate Saints. They call them scummers, which gets on my nerves a little bit because that's our thing for them. But they do like taking the piss, and they did sing to him the other day, say hello to Pompey.
Yeah, that was.
Which I thought was quite funny. But I don't think so, really.
Can you imagine Bournemouth in the Champions League next season?
That would be fun. There's something about that they might not be able to play there.
Yeah, I don't think it don't fit the criteria, does it?
Apparently, one of their stands, which is technically temporary stand, which makes the whole South Stand thing quite funny, where people are taking the piss out of the South Stand and it's temporary. You've actually got a Premier League team who are nearly in the Champions League who've got a temporary stand.
They'd have to go and play at Scum.
Well, apparently they might still be able to play without that stand and still technically
Oh,
be
okay.
okay. But obviously it depends on how much money they want to make. Do you mean if they want to make more money, then they might need to play somewhere else? And I don't know. Apart from Scum, you've got
There's no way to go there, surely.
No, you wouldn't think so.
They said that about Fratton Park, and they go, right, you're in the Champions League, but you have to play at St Mary's. You'd be like, fuck.
Yeah. Probably not. But I mean, they could play at our place, maybe, I suppose. But I think they'll just stick with just losing that stand, or maybe they could put things in place which means it's not technically seen as temporary while still being a temporary stand.
I'm sure they'd work away if they get into Europe.
I mean, they got enough money. Like the amount of money they're spending on those players, I can guarantee they're not on peanuts.
Bill Foley's not short of change, is he? So
no, definitely not. Any other business, or we won't end it there?
Just we got some good things lined up coming within the next few months. So
yeah, we've got three guests invited, one ex-player. Won't say who yet, just in case things go wrong. But at this moment in time, it's all booked in a couple of weeks or so. About 3 weeks.
Some exciting times coming up on the pod. So thank you for listening and keep listening.
Yeah, right. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight live, and those listening on all different platforms. Let's hope for another win on Saturday. Play at Pompey.